attend tonight, and we've asked them to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if the troop would like to come up and by the podium here, and we would love it if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, that's great. Perfect.
Wow.
The flag right over there, so if you please stand. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Why don't you stand right there, and everybody else can sit down. We're going to go down and get our pictures taken with these young men, so that they need that for their badge. So we're going to do that right now. How's that sound?
We'll send you out pictures.
Yeah, everybody. Sorry about that. Okay. Thanks, fellas.
Wow.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Ziegler,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Beagle,
Here.
Councilmember Gotchall,
Here.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Here.
Councilmember Leader is excused, Councilmember Resnick,
Here.
Councilmember Smiley,
Here.
quorum present.
Thank you. Any changes to the agenda? Mr. Brown?
Just one item of correspondence that we were going to add under correspondence under item number 4 regarding the communication from Bradley Roseberry of the Coalition Against Bigger Trucks, thanking us for supporting his efforts to make some inroads into keeping truck limits under control in the state and across the country.
Correct. I think that came to me, and I wanted to make sure everybody got a copy of it. Anybody up here have any changes to the agenda, additions? Okay. This evening, the first thing we're going to be doing is have a presentation. We have the reaffirmation of the oath of office by Greg Evans and Madeline Sims as the new police officers for our police department. So here's Ron Moore.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Brown, Madam Clerk, members of the public. My name's Ron Moore. I'm the Public Safety Director for the City of Wixom. And Mayor, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight and to introduce to you 2 new Wixom police officers. It's always a thrill for me to introduce new police officers, but tonight's especially a thrill because I'm going to introduce 2 police officers to you, and furthermore, they're former Wixom Police Department service aides. So whenever I and the department sees the opportunity to see somebody advance through the ranks and get promoted from within to serve our great community, that's always a thrill for me. So, Mayor, if I may, I'd like to introduce to you the first police officer, Mr. Greg Evans. If Greg and his wife, Himina, could come up and join me here at the lectern. Greg Evans is from Riverview, Florida. He's married to Himina, and they have a 2-year-old daughter named Isabella, who's in the crowd somewhere. Greg graduated from Riverview High School in Florida in 2007, and He also graduated high school as a battalion commander for the junior ROTC program for the Navy. Greg attended college and received a Navy ROTC scholarship at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. He graduated with his bachelor's degree in Homeland Security, as well as commissioning in the United States Navy. Greg was honorably discharged from the Navy. At that time, he and I moved to Michigan. Shortly after arriving in Michigan, Greg graduated from the Mott Community College Police Academy, as well as enlisting in the Army National Guard as a military police officer, where he still is proudly serving. Greg grew up with law enforcement in his family, as his mom was a sheriff's deputy for the Hillsborough County, Florida Sheriff's Office. He's excited to continue his law enforcement career with the Wixom Police Department, and we are thrilled to have him. As I said, it's truly a treat to see Wixom Police Service Aide rise to the rank of a police officer. Greg is here with his wife, Jimena, his little girl, Isabella, and several family friends, including Jill Hayes and Janet and Chuck Simpson are also here joining Greg and Jimena. Mayor, if it's okay at this time, I would have Madam Clerk administer the reaffirmation of the oath of office.
Please do.
You solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Wixom, Oakland County, Michigan, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties and responsibilities of police officer according to the best of your ability.
And Mayor and members of council, as is our custom, I like to ask the new officer who he would like to have pin the badge on him or her, and Greg has selected his wife, so she'll do that at this time.
So there's much for the camera down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Police Officer Greg Evans. If Madeline Sims and her mom and dad, Shannon and Robin Sims, could join me at the lectern, please. Madeline Sims, another former Wixom Police Department service aide. Madeline is from Goodrich, Michigan. Madeline has 3 younger brothers, Wyatt, Jake, and Weston. Madeline graduated from Goodrich High School in 2015. While she was in high school, she played soccer, and at the end of her senior year, she enlisted in the Air National Guard. Madeline was a police service aide with us for over 3 years. She began her educational career at Mott Community College and then attended Grand Valley State University, where she's very close to having attained her bachelor's degree in psychology. Madeline left the Wixom Police Department late last year and attended the 135th Michigan State Police Trooper Recruit School. She graduated from that school in early 2019 as a Michigan State Police Trooper, and she was assigned to the Alpena post. After much discussion, after much soul searching, Madeline realized that her true desire was to be a Wixom police officer. So she resigned as a trooper in good standing with the Michigan State Police, and she's now very excited, as am I, as is the Wixom Police Department, to begin her law enforcement career as a police officer for the Wixom Police Department. Madeline is here with her dad, Shannon Sims, her mom, Robin Sims, 2 of her brothers, Jake and Weston, wave boys, and her boyfriend Andrew, who is a Milford police officer, former Wixom Police Service aide. Madeline has law enforcement in her family as well, as her father is a lieutenant with the Michigan State Police. Mayor, if I may, I would have Madam Clerk administer the reaffirmation of oath of office.
You solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Wixom, Oakland County, Michigan, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties and responsibilities of police officer according to the best of your ability.
And Mayor, Lieutenant Shannon Sims will pin the badge on his daughter. Ladies and gentlemen. Police Officer Madeline Sims. Mayor, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Just a brief comment. You know, when we started that program for with service aides, the intention was really to not only keep the station open 24 hours a day. That was about 18 years ago that we did that. But really what we had hoped was just what happened tonight, and that is to see the people that we hire as service aides eventually become police officers for us, actually. And you know, we've seen a lot of them go to other departments and move on, but I'm really pleased with the way that turned out. We usually, and actually always, when we have a celebration like this, we take an adjournment for about 15 minutes and enjoy cake. So please stay and have a piece of cake and a cup of coffee back there, and mingle and talk to some of the officers and get to know the family that you just got into. So congratulations. Yes.
I thought the cake was for our city manager's birthday.
Oh, well, we could say happy birthday to him, but on the other hand,
I
well,
wasn't suggesting that.
no, okay. All right, why don't we adjourn briefly? Okay. Happy birthday.
Okay, thank you.
Any changes? Points? Anyone wants to bring forward? All in favor of accepting the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Correspondence, there were 3 items of correspondence, and then a 4th one just added by the city manager earlier on. There were thank you notes from the Gallo family and from Lori Dorchek, and a memo from the city clerk regarding the MML annual meeting, and the one that was mentioned earlier. Next item on the agenda is the first call to the public. The rules for call to the public are as follows. The public shall address the council during the call to the public, which shall be included on the agenda immediately after correspondence and again immediately after new business. The first call to the public immediately after correspondence shall be limited to agenda items only. A person shall not address the council in excess of 5 minutes unless the time is extended by a majority of the council present. Persons wishing to address the council shall identify themselves and their place of residence and shall state their reason for addressing the council, and all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council. Does anybody wish to speak to the council this evening on any agenda items? Where'd everybody go?
Cake.
Did they take it with them? Seeing no one come forward, I'll close the first call to the public. Next is the city manager's reports. We have departmental reports of June 2019. Anybody? Any questions, comments? Mr. Smiley.
I was going to actually ask you if you wanted to speak to this a little bit, Mr. Brown, in my closing comments, but this seems like a good spot. I know it was a month ago already, but the good news on the sale of our capital improvement bonds for the wastewater system improvements?
Yes, everything
I thought
closed
you
out.
could give me a little summary of that would be great.
Yeah, just everything went very well. As in recent experience, our bond sale process was very smooth. There was a good demand for the bonds that were issued by the city. Very pleased with the process and our consultants that worked with us. It was a nice and smooth process and went exactly pretty much as we expected it. So that's good. It's going to fund some much needed improvements to our systems in the city, and we're pleased with it. We had a great experience again.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from the consent agenda and added to the regular agenda at the end of unfinished or new business. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support?
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business, and under unfinished business, we have one item. It's a recommendation to enact an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances for the City of Wixom, Chapter 9.32, Controlled Substances and Paraphernalia, Article 1, by amending and/or adding Section 9. Individual under 18 years of age to exempt matters covered by the state statute, Article 3, possession of marijuana, and exempt matters. I'm sorry, I'm kind of messing this up. And provide penalties for violations thereof. If anybody would like me to reread that, I'd be happy to. But I think you get the gist of it.
So moved. Support.
Okay, discussion. I know that we had, this was up before for the introduction, and then we pulled it off the date that it was, because there were some concerns about the write-up. Mr. Gottschall, you had some points you wanted to talk about.
Thank you. This does kind of go with what I had in mind initially with my comments. A few meetings ago, I wanted to thank Public Safety Director Moore working with me and then the city attorney the last few weeks to get everything squared away and make sure that the language flowed with what is in the state statute as well, so thank you.
Mr. Resnick.
I was wondering if it's possible prior to publication, there's
reference to the spelling of marijuana in Article 3, 9.32 Article 3, where a J is used and then 100 times throughout the ordinance it's H. Just maybe if we could, prior to publication, just change that one.
Okay.
So it's consistent with all the rest of them, so.
There were some issues with the reference to state statutes that use H for some reason that I can't explain or fathom. But I think the consistency was with that, but we'll double check and make sure we get it straight before publication. But I'm with you. I do understand the confusion there. At times it's J, at times it's H. So
It's minor, but it's
Yeah.
the opportunity to.
we'll correct that and make it consistent where it can be, and if there's a reason for it, otherwise I'll communicate to council.
Okay, anybody else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And I say it should be a J, by the way.
New business, annual review of city-owned property and determination of use classifications for the city's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 3.16, and maintenance of the current use classification. This is obviously a discussion matter. Did you want any, do you have any talking points that you wanted to make? Or?
Sorry, Mayor?
I just wondered if you had any points you wanted to make on this item number 1.
Oh, no, the only thing I would say is just apologize for it being late, that just because of a timing issue with a staff member that normally handled it not being in the office at the time, and my inability to address it at the time, so I apologize for the delay. It's pretty straightforward, otherwise we don't recommend any changes to the city-owned properties for this time for the city. It's consistent with what they are currently, will work at this time. We have no desire to change anything.
Does anybody have anything they want to mention? Mr. Godson.
Thank you. I did have a few questions because the copy that we had in our packet wasn't exactly clear at times. Like on the city-owned property map where everything's color-coded. When you look at the properties we own that are near, kind of between Wixom Elementary and then the railroad tracks, it almost looks like those are pink, which is cemetery instead of economic development. So just want to make sure it was actually red and not marked cemetery. I tried to zoom in on my computer and it gets grainy, but it looks pink compared to the other red around it. Then also cemetery is spelled incorrectly with an A in a bunch of that stuff.
That's been like that for years. Well, I'll make that change. So, yeah, the color coding is correct.
Okay.
We did double check that, and yeah, I apologize. Some of the colors are so close when it comes to creating a legend like this.
I know those are tiny parcels right over here,
Yeah.
so I was trying to zoom in and it just turns into blur, so I wasn't sure if it was red
Yeah,
or pink or
economic,
what.
yeah.
So, okay. My other kind of question is with the red that is just north of 96 at Wixom Road, looking at that on a satellite image and then reading what it is in the packet, it's retention area. And so I don't know because it is like a pond and a small creek, feasibly how it would be economic development or how it would be developed in the future. And I know when we went through this maybe a time or two ago, there was some talk, or maybe it was with LDFA discussions, someone brought up a pocket park in that area, and I wasn't sure if this was that area or if this should be turned into a park or natural resource or something. I don't know how you're gonna build over a pond and a creek, so.
Yeah. It is unbuildable.
Okay.
And I'd have to check the history on that. I believe that you're correct on a couple different points, that it could also, kind of a portion of it be a pocket park. I also want to say that I recollect that some discussion that is a business park back there that does have, I believe, some master deed attached to it, so it may be able to be turned over to that park if it was an organized park. Does that make the business park?
Yep.
And so that's why I think they may have left it in economic development in case of a future sale or,
Okay.
you know.
I just, whether we can turn it over to them or if it is something that we hold on to, maybe putting in like a wood chip walking trail there, because it backs up to my place now at the creek side, and then all of those offices that are in the commercial park there. I think that'd be a nice little lunch thing, or for guests that are at the hotels to grab some cheese curds and go wander around a pond, so.
I'll look into the history of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay, next item on the agenda is a recommendation to utilize the bid process from the Oakland County Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorize the purchase of installation for 2 replacement mobile data computers and peripheral equipment for the police department patrol vehicles for $9,709.66. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Ron?
Yeah, good evening. These are the cars, obviously, that the police officers use in the patrol vehicles. The life expectancy for one of these mobile data computers is 3 to 5 years. The ones that I'm asking to be replaced are 6 years old. And the records manager showed me one of the old ones that just was taken out of the car, and it's time. They're old, they're falling apart. And there's an operating system in them that's not even supported by Oakland County IT anymore. So I'm requesting purchase of 2.
Sure, and these things are on potentially 24 hours a day. And
Potentially, yes,
Yeah.
depending on the
Wow, 7 days a
patrol
week.
car usage, yes.
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Gatchel?
Thank you. I know in the past we've talked about like idling patrol vehicles, and part of it was computers and the boot time and making sure it'd always be connected instead of having to wait. Is there anything available at this point, or do you think there ever will be, where we can start turning off patrol vehicles rather than leaving them idling constantly?
I agree with you, that is hard on a vehicle. I don't recall what the formula is, but there is a Ford Motor Company formula that says so many hours of idling is equal to X amount of miles traveled. I can ask around. I can ask some of my colleagues and the vendor that installs and does our vehicle changeover. I would assume it would be some sort of beefed up battery that could potentially drive the MDCs and allow us to turn the cars off.
Okay.
I can ask, sure.
For future purchases, it'd be interesting to know, because I think that would help with fleet maintenance as well as just environmental impact as well.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Maybe just to add to that, I did have some conversations with some other local forces near us, and they have a no idle policy. And they do, they say, it takes a few seconds to boot up, but it's not unreasonable for the time that the officer gets into the car and starts it. So one of the questions I had, though, was the provisioning of the computers themselves. Does our IT department do that?
No.
Our city? Okay.
No.
So Oakland County does it.
We're getting it through the Oakland County Cooperative Program. We're getting the equipment, and then it will go to our vendor, Cruisers in Brighton.
Okay,
They actually make.
they provision the operating system on it and whatever applications the Clemus have.
Well, that's Oakland County. That's Oakland County
Okay.
Clemis.
All right.
Yes, but the actual installation is Cruisers
Yeah.
for our vendor. Yeah.
I think a lot of a difference is whether it's tied to the ignition line or the battery line on the startup too. So if it's tied to battery, it will stay powered, but it drains batteries faster, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone else? We have a motion and a second to utilize the bid process from the Oakland County Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorize the purchase and installation of 2 replacement mobile data computers and peripheral equipment for the police department patrol vehicles for $9,709.66. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Now go eat some cake. Go eat the rest of the cake.
Scott's waiting for that.
They did a good job. Next item on the agenda is consideration of a 2019-2020 Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation Smart contract in the amount of $13,960 to be funded through SMART with the local match funded through Oakland County Public Transportation Authority, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract on behalf of the city. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Discussion. Ms. Granlund-Fox.
So I just had a couple questions through the mayor. Would that be to city manager or?
Well, Deanna does whoever you want.
Okay, no, that's fine. I didn't know. Hi, Deanna. Hi. So just a couple questions. So there is no match by the city, by Wixom, by the city of Wixom, correct?
Correct. It comes through Oakland County.
Okay. And then what are the routes? Do you know the routes or the stops that the bus makes in the city?
Well, SMART does not come to Wixom.
Okay.
What we use this contract for is charter services as well as senior transportation. We have a program called People's Express that for our Wixom seniors, but the SMART buses do not come to Wixom.
So it's only for our seniors?
Seniors and disabled.
Okay. Do we know what the ridership is?
Usually it depends. Each month, it's based on a route basis. It's based on a formula, whether it's within the city limits, if it's 15 miles radius, 20 miles radius, et cetera. We have different rates where the rider pays a portion and the city gets reimbursed for the portion. But we do have that, and it's on the website if you'd like to see the routes.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Anybody else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the second call to the public. Anybody wishing to speak to the council this evening on any item that might be on their mind?
Good evening, I'm Russ Meredith, 378 Fletcher, and hi everybody. Last week, the emergency siren went off, so being good long-term residents of Michigan, my wife and I grabbed the bike helmets, the cat, the emergency radio, went to the basement, and waited for the all-clear siren. That never came. We checked the city website for an announcement of what was going on. There was nothing, and we looked for the blast to see if any message came out. We just kind of decided, well, there's no train sound, so we're going to go upstairs. Just wonder if it'd be possible, if the emergency siren is going to go off, if the website or the email blast could be used to send a notion out to the citizens saying, here's what's going on, here's when it's all clear. Because otherwise, you're waiting in the basement for the all clear that never comes, or your roof leaves, one of the two. But in this case, the roof stayed on, so we assumed it was all right. So that's just the request. If you guys consider that or talk with whoever would be required to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a good point. I heard the sirens myself and was a little concerned, and I wasn't attentive enough to listen for the clear sign.
Well, we were in the basement. We weren't sure if we'd heard it. But
Yeah, maybe that's something to look into, though, to make sure that there is such a thing.
we couldn't even find anything on the city website saying what to do, what it meant.
Yeah.
So a neighbor of mine did say he tunneled down into the Oakland City website. I'm sorry, I should be up there. A neighbor of mine went to the Oakland County emergency website, and on page 47 or something of it, he found an indication of what was going on, but that was way
Wow.
after the fact.
Wow.
And we at the Oakland Alerts, we got nothing on that either, so we don't know if it was the county sent it off or was the city sent it off.
County
But-
sent it off.
Pardon?
The county sent it off.
Okay.
Right.
But if we get something somewhere that says it's clear, because we didn't see anything.
That might be something to look into and maybe let us know on that.
Thanks, Tim.
If you could, Tim.
Steve, thanks.
Yeah, we'll check into it with the county. It was a county siren, so we'll check into with the county about,
Yeah.
is there any way to get information like that a little bit more front and center than page
Yeah.
47 perhaps? And as Tim alluded to, our DPW Director, Tim Sikma there, that it was a county siren, so it wouldn't be something that we would have that immediate information on. So I'll talk with the county about it and see what can be done to improve the communication on that kind of situation.
Thanks.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, just one thing to add to that is we were talking amongst about 3 people and the confusion on whether was the siren a severe thunderstorm alert or a tornado alert. So maybe a upfront definition of that during
Right.
the storm season would help as well.
And it was high winds.
Yeah.
So. did check with Tim on that, it was high winds, so.
And my recollection is you're supposed to go to the southwest corner of your basement, but
Yeah,
that's from about 50 years ago, so.
we decided someone's going to die no matter what, so.
We will check into it as best we can and get some information.
Anybody else have any comments? Or okay. Anybody else, I guess, have any public statements? Okay. City manager's comments. Birthday boy.
Yeah. No better place to be than a city council meeting to celebrate the big birthday, right?
Well, that's what we're trying to get you out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Quickly.
I don't have anything to add this week. There was some information that was provided on the ICP property regarding some things. I did attempt to follow up on some of that information pursuant to a council member's concern on that. Wasn't able to get any additional information before tonight. I'll keep people posted on that and see what I can find out about status of ongoing efforts there to clear the concrete as well as the dewatering process. I do have good information on the dewatering process through our internal communications, but the concrete is something that I've got to get some information from the property owner, ICP, on that. So I'll do my best on that and see what kind of further information I can provide. Other than that, I'll direct your attention to the 8 employees celebrating years of service with the city, ranging from 1 year to 22 years. So congratulations to all of them, and we appreciate their efforts, as well as one of our own department heads, Deborah Barker, who's here tonight celebrating 20 years of service coming in this month. So congratulations, Deborah, and everybody else that's celebrating a work anniversary. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them or follow up for additional information.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Council comments. Mr. Beagle.
Excuse me. Thank you. Just want to congratulate and welcome Greg Evans and Madeline Sims to the Wixom Police Department, to the Wixom family. I'm sure they're going to be fine additions to the staff. Congratulations, Deb, on your work anniversary, and to the other 7 employees who are celebrating work anniversary. Thank you for everything you do for the city, and happy birthday, Mr. City Manager. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Gatchell.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank Officer Evans and Sims for rejoining the police force in their new police officer role, and just appreciate their dedication to the city and the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Grunland Fox.
And I too will echo my fellow council members' comments about the anniversaries. Congratulations to all those employees, and a big welcome to our new police officers.
Thank you. Mr. Resnick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also welcome Officers Evans and Sims, and it's great to see that service aid program turning out. It's like a internship program, and it's very effective. It's a great story. Attended the Hot Blues and Barbecue concert. That was great. I know it might have been looked like a little bit lighter turnout, but the heat was unbearable. But a great event again. I think everybody had a good time out there, and super. Thank you, Dan and team, for doing that. Attended the ribbon cutting at My Place Hotel last week, and it's interesting to see these hotels being built. You know, they're 60 to 120 room hotels, and they fill up immediately. And then asking, you know, the managers there was a bowling tournament in town with 236 people come to it. And the baseball tournament was also quite wide ranging, and people are packing these hotels. It's just amazing how much this area attracts those big groups. So build it and they will come, I guess. So very good. Welcome to the community, My Place.
Thank you. Mr. Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Boy, everything got covered pretty well there. I got a couple little things I can stick back in here. 20 years, wow, that's great, Ms. Barker. That's fantastic. Thanks, Troop 104, for coming. We really love when the scouts and students come. Really enjoy when we swear in officers. That's just really good feeling stuff that we at council get to, we really enjoy when that stuff happens. And then finally, Camp 911 starts next week. I had my kids do that in the past. It's a lot of fun. The kids learn a lot, really enjoy it. And that's everything. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I was at the Blues and Barbecue as well, and that was a good time. It was had by all, but In addition to that, we had the ribs contest, and it was well attended, and we had some good contestants. We had 5 contestants, and our own, I shouldn't say it that way, I suppose, but our own Alex's Pizza, Wixom's own Alex's Pizza won first place, and so congratulations to Sandro and the rest of the folks there. He was there to collect the awards, so congratulations to him, and it was a really good time. Thanks to everybody that helped out there. Deanna, everybody did a great job. Community Services, DPW, everybody was, it was great to see everybody there having a good time. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go home.